Newsflash is brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise. Still, fun papa fee.
Joy Prime, the ultimate experience.
The Royal House Chapel International presents Power in His Presence.
And we're here again. Of course, you did watch our entrance. It was a grand one, right? Well, if you think that was grand, then you have to stay glued to your television set because there's a better coming your way. You're still watching Prime Morning. My name is Roslyn Felly, and I want to say a very big thank you to the National Theatre for putting this together. We look so regal because of National Theatre, and if you saw the drummers and the dancers, of course, they are from the National Theatre as well. Guys, I always say that when you have an occasion, anything traditional, I don't know why you'll be searching for other people. Listen, National Theatre has got you covered. They do it like nobody else's business. Is it your wedding that you want to look regal? Is it your engagement you want to look regal? Is it that you're going for an event and you want to look regal? Just pick up your phone, contact National Theatre. They'll be there at your doorstep to serve you. They'll let you look as beautiful as I look. I mean, hey, open way now, day. Go to National Theatre and let them let you look fantastic. If you are looking for drummers and dancers too for any special occasion of yours, just call on National Theatre and they will make your in fact, your event, a very grand event. Don't miss out on it at all. And like I said, you're still watching Prime Morning. You can join us this morning, especially on Facebook, as we stream live. Don't forget to hit the share button. Let everybody on your timeline enjoy this morning's show. Now, I want to say a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for also putting this together. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone, whatever gadgets you are looking for, whether mobile phones, television sets, CCTV cameras, don't worry at all, because we have got you covered. So all you have to do is pick up the number on your screen right now. You see the number? Yes, that is a Franco Trading Enterprises number. Or for further inquiries, you can visit our website, www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still full prepare for you. I know most of you are like, oh my God, we've missed out on Ghana Man. No, Ghana Man just started. It just started. And on the 6th of March, we will definitely be having a beautiful ceremony here in Ghana, not at the regular place like you all know, but rather it's going to happen at the Jubilee House. And the president says that he's going to do this because he wants to cut down on costs. What's your take on it? Definitely, I have to take the opinions of my guests with regards to what the president has decided to do, and then we'll also delve into our topic that is taking a look at the SONA, the State of the Nation's address. Let me welcome my guest this morning. Sitting directly next to me is Nana Yaustapong, who is representing Movement for Change. Good morning, Nana.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. You look great.
Thank you so much. A big thank you to National Theatre.
Yes.
They've made me look fantastic this morning, and I'm very grateful to them.
The warning your producer gave me not to come here in any other thing aside kente cloth.
That's right.
And she started on a Friday evening. Mm-hmm. And then I asked her, but of course, it's a month for Ghana. So
yeah.
we would do anything to honor.
You look good in kente though. You should be wearing kente often.
Send me a Santini.
Aha. So today, you know,
Santini because I'm a Bememu.
That's right. Right, and the Ghana man himself, maybe one day he'll become the Ghana man. I don't know, but it's been a while since he came here, Honorable Ebenezer Nate, representing the NPP. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning to you.
Ofane Yojogba.
Ofane Yojogba.
Ofane.
Modomo.
Oh, look good.
Wanda machine. Ake nyone no wonkai Ghana. Wo no yeli. Ko babu fake afi nyuma ekpa kese ni Ghana wona wo he e de brofo mi ahi o mi suggest po ake school lebe no ba wo here come fio ye bie wo here ampesi fio ye bie wo
here kekena
come kekena ekpa poshito bona alo ba nyo hu aklo bona bo fi ebunebunu ke fufuyi e ko fi jijin ke nkati ewo bona bo fi apene ke fideji alo bi na chole alo fi Kita school boys. Okay, for breakfast. Because me na me telebo inji ame me na me telebo agbeni ya nyo aje don. I said those who carried me.
I know. You said those who carried me. They are men.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so give the fufu banku.
Don't worry, that will happen. So for those of you who are watching, you don't understand what Honorable has been saying. Honorable is just saying that we are happy that we are here today, and of course, Ghana is celebrating its anniversary on the 6th of March, and everybody is excited about it. So Honorable says that we should have had kinke and fish, or plantain and contomere stew or something.
Promised me that we would have a Ghanaian breakfast.
Ghanaian breakfast, don't worry, it will happen.
When I was coming, I refused to take my usual warm water.
Okay.
And that's why I've not even requested for it.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So you know my producer doesn't disappoint, right? Well, Brenda never disappoints. So Brenda will definitely make sure that you'll be belly full before you go. Anyway, let me quickly read what the newspapers have, and then we can go into our conversation for this morning. If you're watching us, thank you so much. Don't forget to leave your comments on Facebook as we're streaming live, and don't forget to also share, which we really, really appreciate. Now, as you're doing that, you can also send your messages to us on WhatsApp, which we will go there and read, which is 055-157-5757. My first newspaper is the Ghanaian Times newspaper. The Ghanaian Times. Channel Hajj profits into charity. President directs task force. force. Government position on free SHS assuring. This is coming from CRI. Galamsey fight, time for workable solution, not a blame game. And this is from Reverend Sapong. And the next story says that NLA DG, that's Director General, appointed African Lotteries Association Vice President, and 7 die in separate accidents in Northeast region. This is not good news at all. We don't want to hear of accidents all the time. We wish that these things will be reduced drastically. But anyway, as you're a driver and you're on the road, please try as much as possible to stay safe on the road. It's very, very important. The next newspaper is the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic newspaper. And it reads, 32 years on, Parliament yet to establish Public Interest Committee. Stop photocopying Ghana cards of customers, BOG warns banks. Oh, really? But they do it. They do it all the time. So the Daily Graphic is actually telling us that BOG has warned banks. Guys, if you go to any bank and they say they are taking your Ghana card to photocopy, say no. Well, the last time I went to the bank, they didn't take my Ghana card, they rather took my biometric. And so if you go to any bank and they say, oh, they want to photocopy your Ghana card, BOG says it's not right. It is not allowed anymore. T-bill rates drop as government reduces domestic borrowing. Sophia Kufu questions policy on Ghana's extractive agreement, and a book on company law best practices launched. And you find these stories and even many more in the Daily Graphic newspaper. My final newspaper is the Ghanaian Publisher newspaper. Anti-LGBTQ bill, no U-turn will be tolerated. Reverend Intim Fojo to Mahama. NLA boss appointed Vice President of African Lotteries. Bagbain's hypocrisy exposed over MP's orientation. And then there's the last story here. May Ramadan strengthen our resolve for peace and unity. And this coming from former President Akufo-Addo. I have my third guest who has joined us this morning, Honorable Mohammed Abdul Aziz. He's a former MP for Mion. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good, and good to see you.
It's good to see you as well.
You spoke,
and your colleagues.
You
Yes.
spoke Chi, you spoke Ga. You're not able to speak the Bani. So
no, I'm not
welcome
able
him.
to speak.
Honorable Maraba.
Ngoya.
Young Jawla.
Alafi.
Sukamza Malala.
Alhamdulillah.
That's
great. That's great. I like.
I think you've lived there before. You were born in that
yes,
area. Yeah, he was born there.
Great,
so
great,
yeah.
Great.
Anyway, so we want to take a look at the SONA, what the president said. But before then, I want to also take your opinion on the 6th March celebration, which will not be happening at the Independence Square, but for the first time, it's going to happen at the Jubilee House because the president says that he wants to cut down on cost. So, Nana, let me start this with you. Just like briefly, 2 minutes on it.
Yes, I thank you very much, and a good morning to your viewers and everyone in here. Personally, I was excited when the president had declared that he was going to cut down the cost on the celebration of the 6th March. And I believe that if every year, indeed, the figure they put out, which was in excess of 15 million, am I right? Used in celebrating just 6th March, moving dignitaries from Greater Accra and from other parts of Ghana to other parts of the country, and all the fun fairs that we hold would cost us 15 million and over. And we look at whether or not Ghana has reached that stage where we lack nothing and we are able to spend this kind of money on just fanfare, then there is nothing to write home about. And so I would agree with him. But he should not just be looking at cutting the cost, because if indeed he wanted to celebrate it just as we have always done, he would have gotten the money to celebrate it. And so in that same vein, that money should be channeled in putting up something monumental, something...
Monumental as like what?
I mean, there are other infrastructure deficits that we do have. Even if we use that money to put up a 2-unit classroom, even if we use it to put up a boys' quarters or a bungalow and donate it to certain districts that lack, if we use it to drill boreholes in identifiable communities and say that this is what this year's budget for the celebration of our Independence Day was used for, and it is marked as such. In 4 years, we would be having 4 different infrastructure gotten out of the celebration of Sixth March. Sixth March is a day when Ghana got its independence. So in that same vein, if some people are in need, if some people in Ghana lack certain things, and we are able to give them the most important that they need, it is also a way of liberating those people on that day. There's just significance that it comes with.
Fantastic, Nana. Honorable.
Good morning, Roland.
Good morning.
And good morning to.
So just in 2 minutes, too.
No, he spoke more than 2 minutes. I checked the time. Nayao and then Aziz. Rosalind, honestly, I have checked, I've monitored on the social media and some places that I'm expecting, but I've still not heard your name.
Honorable Asin.
As in the appointment.
My name is on Joy Prime. Every morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. You hear my name, Rosalind Felix.
Because I've heard one from Metro TV, one from Peace FM, one from...
I'm a proud TV presenter, a proud journalist of Joy Prime.
Yours is yet to be mentioned, right?
This is my job. This is what I love.
And I heard somebody also lobbying that he wants to be the minister for ministers and prophets. So it should be considered. Kumchacha, that the ministers and the prophets play a key role in the 2024 campaign, and that he has to be a minister, to be in charge of the ministers and all those things. I'm expecting that Joy, or let me say multimedia, and if multimedia needs to be getting an appointment, it should be Rosalind.
Let's see what the future holds.
Amen. Rosalind. And then, 6th March. Today is 3rd, right? So in the next 3 days...
3 days, yeah. On Thursday.
It will be 68 years that we gain independence. And every president, and I think for some time, we changed the normal 6th March parade at the Independence Square. In the XY Nanado administration, decided that for every region to have a feel of the 6th March celebration, the independence celebration, let's move to all the regions, because when we're young, it's always at the Independence Square. For almost 50 years plus, always Independence Square. I think this was the first time we even celebrated 6th March at the Jubilee House. During the COVID time, it was celebrated at the Jubilee House.
But it wasn't to cut down on cost. The reason is to cut down on cost.
We have to know that when it was celebrated at the Jubilee during Nanado's time, what was the cost?
Okay. But we were not told.
Until recently that they decided to go and do the 6th March at the Jubilee House. Have you heard of the budget that we have spent for 6th March celebration? Exactly. So for me, yes, if the president thinks that we have to cut down costs, which I'm happy about, but I hope he also informed the Speaker of Parliament that he wants to cut down costs of certain things, then for me, I think that is a right call. I have heard certain people saying that, look, we all want to have a feel of it because we thought that, since some regions have benefited from the 6th March celebration, it will definitely come to us because you have 16 regions. But the president is saying that in the last 6th March celebration, we spent 1.15 million cedis, which none of us know what go into the 15 million cedis. Yet to be told that maybe we did A, B, C, and D, amounted to 15 million. So when we are going to celebrate it this year at the Jubilee House, we are going to spend 50,000. I will be very happy that the president will come out and tell us that, or maybe President Owusu-Kwakye will come and tell us that 6th March celebrated on the 6th of March 2025 on Friday, on Thursday. Then Friday morning, he will come and tell us that the amount that is spent there is maybe 20,000, 40,000. I'll be happy. And I agree to what Nana is saying. That yes, so if we spend 15 million a year ago, and the following year we are spending 20,000. Then we have 14 point something. That 14 point something, we can go to Kwame Nkrumah's hometown, look at a very deprived school or hospital there, and name it 68 hospital built. We go to another place the following year.
We have to let Ghanaians know that that's what the money was used for, right?
I'm giving a suggestion to the president. If only they will listen. But I think my brother is here. So definitely, I've also not heard his name yet. And I'm hoping that I'll soon, because some of your people, some of the former MPs, I've heard their names. In fact, my own brother and friend, even though yesterday I sent him a message, I said, I'm not happy with where they have sent you, Otokuno.
But Eben is forgetting the fact that his name was not mentioned.
I didn't want to even say anything.
In the previous
administration. I didn't want to say anything.
With all your commitment, with how much you actually did contribute to reviving your party's name in your constituency. In fact, you are even a victim of internal political...
Are you now a spokesperson from...
No.
On that note,
you have suffered political victimization. And then you would want to...
Say that you have suffered...
So, okay, Honorable, just
so for me, I'll be very grateful. I'll be very grateful, and I will see how it's going to be organized. But as I'm saying, adding my voice to now, that money should be meant for... That's for me, for instance. I've been saying all the time that when people have stronger money, they should be arrested, they should be sent to jail. People have been sentenced to prison, recently. Money was not retrieved from them. It became an investment for them. They were being released, and then they come enjoy the money. That's why I always say that, look, I don't buy into these things.
Just take the money.
Take the money, take it to the person's hometown. For instance, if me, go to Pampram and go and build a big hospital. This is the hospital built from the money that Ebenezer Nate stole from government. So everybody, my children, my grandchildren will come and say, hey, so this is what your grandfather did to this country.
Okay, fantastic. Let me go to Honorable Aziz.
Well, good morning once again to my colleague panelists. 68th birthday of Ghana. If Ghana was to be a human being, I'm sure by now Ghana would have been 8 years old in retirement pension.
Yes.
Is worthy of celebrating, at least if for nothing, to celebrate and honor our heroes, those who led the process of we attaining independence. Those of us who never lived around those times perhaps cannot appreciate more what our parents and grandparents went through in the hands of our slave masters. We are enjoying this peace, this independence, largely because of what they did. And so it's good to celebrate and honor them. It is also refreshing that President Mahama and the government has decided to, instead of going to do the celebration in a grand style, as part of the measures to cut expenditure, President Mahama and the government has decided to hold a very small ceremony at the seat of a government. We have also suspended, or if you like, we have also canceled the original celebrations. It can be done at the district levels, but the fanfare, the resources that we pump into it is what we want to minimize as part of the measures to cut down public expenditure as a way of fiscal consolidation. And so it is just an exemplary life that President Mahama wants to throw out to the Ghanaian people. That look, when the president says that times are hard and that I am calling on Ghanaians to tighten their belts, the president himself, wants to take the lead in tightening their belt. It doesn't pay, it doesn't augur well to call on Ghanaians to tighten their belts because we're in hard times, and yet we are seen spending a lot of money at the presidency doing virtually nothing. And I am inspired by that level of exemplary life by President Mahama. About a week ago, I was driving on the Gifford Road, and coincidentally, President Mahama was going home. I don't know whether he was coming from the office or wherever he was coming from. And I was just so surprised. In fact, I was amazed to see a president of the Republic of Ghana going home with just 3 saloon cars. 3 saloon cars. There was no Land Cruiser. In fact, there was 1 Land Cruiser Prado at the end of the convoy, but just 3 three saloon cars. And I was so impressed that President Mahama, yes, is walking his talk. And this will be a new standard for subsequent presidents to come. And look, even though I was excited later, I was also looking at the security implications of just moving with three saloon cars. But all that I'm trying to say is that what President Mahama is doing now, relative to our celebration of the independence, is just to send a signal to the Ghanaian populace that we are not in good times and that we need to cut our
material
according to our size.
Okay. But not our size.
Okay.
It depends on the cloth available. And so it's a prudent measure. I commend President Mahama and the entire government for that decision. We will not waste the resources of this country. We will put every pesewa to good use. And Ghanaians can be rest assured that President Mahama is coming to set a new governance standard. When we talk about resetting, it's not just resetting in terms of the economy. Also, the governance architecture of our country is being reset. And so, our friends in the opposition, take a cue. In the likely event that you get back to power in the next 20, 24 years, you can begin to do some of the things that President Mahama. Well, I mean, so
well,
if you said those things, what the president was saying that, you know. So,
all right, otherwise. Okay, so this is what is happening currently. Of course, what Ghanaians are looking for is transparency.
Yes.
So as much as you say you're going to save costs, let Ghanaians know the amount of money that you have saved and what the money was used for. I think with that, Ghanaians will tout, the NDC. But if it becomes one of those that we say we are saving money, but we don't know where the money is, what the money is channeled into, of course, Ghanaians will definitely come.
I appreciate where Honorable was coming from when he talked about using the savings to do some infrastructure. That is true, and I'm sure government has a listening ear. Government may want to consider it. But trust me, once the money is not expended and it is in the consolidated fund in government purse, it would obviously be used for providing goods and services for the people. It might not necessarily be going to do a structure and naming it as savings from this project. But the fact is that if government was supposed to spend, for instance, 20 million Ghana cedis, and decides to spend just 1 million Ghana cedis, that 90 million Ghana cedis will be seated in government coffers, and that can only be used to provide goods and services for the state. But I appreciate for the symbolism of it, or if you like, for the propaganda value of it, that may be possible.
Okay.
But President Mahama wants to walk away from it.
Okay. So let's go into our topic of the SONA, which is the State of the Nation's address that was
significant.
Gentlemen. Gentlemen, let me just go into a conversation for this morning, which is the SONA, the State of the Nation's address, which was done by the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency. Now, he did mention a lot of things. He did touch on certain sectors, the energy sector, agri, education, all these sectors were touched on. Of course, he also made us aware of the monies that were there and also the costs that had been incurred by the previous government. Now, this is my first time meeting my guest this morning after the State of the Nation's address. So again, I'll have to take their opinions and then we can delve deeper into it. So Nana, your opinion on the entire budget. Were you impressed with what the president
said? The entire State of the Nation's address.
The entire State of the Nation.
Of course, I understand the budget will come on the 10th. Or is it on the 12th? So 11.
11, sorry. So I said budget. State of the Nation's address. Pardon
I understand.
Me.
Of course,
we are ready for the budget.
We need the budget to be able to move this nation. So but I mean, personally, I think that the State of the Nation's address, just as it is, was a constitutional mandate. And the president had no other excuse but to address the nation. One thing that got me was the fact that the president actually had to not account to the nation, but rather to tell the nation the true state it was in when it was handed over to him. There was a government before, And before he left, he had to actually account to the Ghanaian people through parliament, where he was leaving it. And so the president, currently JDM, had the responsibility after transition, after having access to proper documents, confidential documents and figures, to tell Ghanaians the true state of our nation. And, Evelyn, you see, what excited me about this particular state of the nation was President Mohammed's ability not to lament over the issues, but rather to sort to tell us how he intends to move us onto the next stage. Because you and I know the problems Ghana is going through. We do not need a rocket science to get to know that dollar was at 15, 16 Ghana cedis. We did not need anybody to come and tell us that business loans was in the ranges of 35 to 45%. We did not need anybody to come and tell us that if you go to the market and you're going to buy an egg, a crate of egg was between 65 Ghana cedis to 80 Ghana cedis, depending on the size of eggs that you want. We didn't need that. We didn't need anybody to tell us that cocoa board had actually reduced in its tonnage in production. We didn't need that. We know that. We know all of these things already. And that is what has been handed over to you. So in your first attempt to address the nation, I was impressed when he didn't come lambasting the previous government, all right, but rather sought to tell Ghanaians how he was going to go through it.
2 minutes
now,
please.
You see, the issues were very straight. How do we move from where we are? We need to be able to stabilize our economy. After stabilization of the economy, we need to be able to put in a gear for that economy to grow and to become resilient. How are we doing that? If you look at your dailies today, you will notice that T-bills have been reduced.
Yeah.
What is the percentage now?
You want to know the percentage?
Yes.
Okay.
So you would notice that...
So it says rate of government borrowing, the lowest level in 20 months.
Yes.
And, okay.
It's dropped to about 20-something
So it's now
percent.
28%.
28%.
Yes.
Now, do you know...
If it was 28.34 and now it's 20.79.
Okay. So you know the significance. You know what it means. What it means is that they have reduced how much interest you would gain when you save your money. All right? Now, when the rate of T-bills and savings is up, people take their money to banks to go and save. Now, one day it comes down, it means that people are forced to bring out their monies from the bank and to invest in the economy and into the business. So you will notice that captains of industries, instead of saving their monies in the bank, because that is the surest way, but rather they will be forced to bring their money out and expand their businesses. And that is one key way if you want to actually go about reviving your economy. Okay. One other way he also mentioned, which I think that they are doing things to go about, has to do with the interest rates when it comes to loans. Because businesses will need loans to work. And if we are able to reduce the interest on loans or credit from between the 35 to 45 to probably in the 20s and coming down into single digits, what it means is that banks would rather want to give monies out. Borrowing would become nice, it will become attractive. People will be forced to expand their businesses because they would have access to what I would call cheap loans. All right. And if you have access to cheap loans, it means that you'll be interested.
You'll be forced to go for it, yeah.
You take more to expand your businesses. And when businesses are being expanded, you are creating more jobs. When jobs are being created, people will be employed.
Okay.
Monies will come into individuals' pockets, and monies will go back into the economy. So the economy begins to grow and becomes resilient. Now, these are things that we actually need to hear. Running a 24-hour economy goes beyond... I'm just going to wrap up.
Okay.
Running a 24-hour economy is just going to go beyond the usual talk. There is a need for us to invest in infrastructure, which he mentioned. There is a need to invest in agriculture, which he mentioned. There is a need to invest in industry, which means that our credit lines would have to be attractive, which he mentioned. There is a need to actually encourage more entrepreneurs, young ones, and find a way to actually partner locals to foreign companies for us to be able to grow. Rosalind, this State of the Nation's address, personally, gave us some level of hope and encouragement. And when the president made a statement when his initial statement sought to make me feel that indeed he's a communicator.
Okay.
What he sought to do was to actually bring back the confidence of investors into our economy, because the investors have lost confidence.
Okay, I'll definitely come back to you again on it. If we have some messages, I want to read the messages before I go to Honorable Ebenezer Nate, who's smiling, and I want to know the reason why he's smiling. But let me read some messages, and then I can go to Honorable Ebenezer Nate. Honorable, there's a lot going on in your head, eh? Because I can only see how you're smiling, beaming with smiles, I must say. Okay, so I'll start from here. Okay, good. This one says that I think it's good to hear that the culprits in the NSA ghost names scandal be declared wanted and their assets be frozen. That's what we want to hear. We need that will to fight corruption in our dear country. This from Ablade Fiekuma Zongo. And he further says that introducing short military training as part of National Service Scheme is a good initiative. It will help the upcoming youth to manage their time very well. Also, that will discipline them. Good morning, Madam Host. My humble question is that His Excellency, the President Mahama, in the SONA, he said that the previous government has spent all the monies and nothing is left in their accounts. The question is, if that is true, how do they get money to pay the contractors with this short time of assuming office? This is from Mr. Amofa Adansi Ekro from. I think Mr. Amofa's contract is in there, so he wants his money paid. Good morning to you, Madam Roslyn, and to your guests, more especially to my former MP of Mion, Honorable Abdulaziz. Madam, you can see that the Ghana today is no more the Ghana we used to know for the past 2 months. Indeed, the resetting is yielding a good result. There will be surely better days ahead of all of us. Now, the size of government and expenses have been reduced to the lowest. The corrupt past officials are running as if swarm of bees are chasing them, and more good things are coming. We are thankful to His Excellency and his wonderful appointees. May God protect and guide them for us. My regards to Alaji Bahama Zakbalsi, and to our current MP, Alhaji Misbah. This is from Sumani Hamza. Sumani Hamza, you've been asking for Honorable for a long time. You know, he's been sending messages with your name, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my first time meeting you. I just realized.
Okay.
He always sends messages. He actually says greetings to Honorable Abdulaziz,
okay.
MP for Mion. Yes,
okay.
He's been
My
saying.
to him.
Yeah. Good morning, Roslyn. Please ask the MPP representative, that's Honorable Ebenezer Nate, when Electoral Commission will pay the workers who worked during December 7th national election. But Honorable doesn't work with EC. So why are you asking him that? And NPP is not EC. EC is an independent body, please.
Because they have been allies.
Teacher Kujo Tepa Enyinaso says the NDC members strongly spoke against the National Cathedral, saying state funds should not be used. However, the Hajj village, you are in support, claiming that no state funds will be used, but the airport company is constructing it. If I may ask, who owns the airport company? Is it not the state? Now, we all know the pretense of the NDC government. Are you resetting the country with this fanfare? 4 years is just around the corner. Don't waste it. Greetings to Chairman Odenehu Kweku Apia Koka. Good morning. I'm Pesika from Medina. His Excellency JDM remains the hope of Ghana as far as presidency and leadership is concerned. It truly is the definition of agro-beswa ifrianopa. Because agro asodoso. How can MPP with this minute members in Parliament dictate pace for government businesses? Pesika from Medina. Hey, Pesika, you like money, I can see. Master Planner from Junior Kintampo says, Master Planner Junior, so from Kintampo says that we have to be factual. Those giving President Mahama updates are deceiving him. If you have presidential staffers who are too political, they will always mislead you, and some of us will expose you. Before the State of the Nation's address, President Mahama said only one agenda, the 111 hospital, was completed. But contrary to that, President Nana Addo completed 3 agenda 111 hospitals. 1 in Trede, 2 Kokobing, and 3 Ahanta. Granted, they are not operational, as President Mahama says. Those nurses you are sacking today can be posted there to make it operational. Stop sacking the youth for their work. This is the State of the Nation address. So, you see, Master Planner, let's correct this. And I want everybody to know. Now, we know that the union from Ghana Nurses Association have come out to say that nobody has been sacked. Nobody has been sacked. So, please, let's get it right. I'm begging you. Let's not make... There's no propaganda on the show. Ghana's Independence Day, to me, is a day of mourning. It's a happy day for the few political elites who got rich from independence to us, the poor university graduates who are home since 1999, still struggling. Is a mourning day. When there is government recruitment, it is a who you know and bribe. As of now, it's an open secret. You pay from 10,000 Ghana cedis before you get a job. We all know. So what is good about the day? Our own Black Ghanaian brothers have turned this country to something else. I'll read one last one, and then we can continue with the conversation. I'll come back and I'll read the other messages, so you can still send your messages to us. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, Roslyn. Truth be told, listening to President Mahama speaking on the SONA 2025, I see nothing but an honest president. President Mahama was only trying to tell Ghanaians where we are now and where we are going to, but not to lament. I was particularly happy to hear President Mahama promise the good people of this country that he's going to fix the economic crisis that the NPP left behind. It is true, the NPP criminal managed the economy of this country. President Mahama has taken responsibility and has identified the problems, and he's going to fix it as he did in solving doom. So President Mahama has also promised to be truthful and respectful to the good people of this country. President Mahama is going to behave others who go to functions and ask chiefs to get up and greet him. President Mahama will not produce a chair that will, Alhaji Hamza Pig Farm, this one, dear. All right, so I'll come back and I'll read more messages, so you can still send in your messages. But Honorable Ibn Zanate, you had a smile on your face when Nanayao was speaking. And is it because of certain comments that he made with regards to the State of the Nation's address, or?
Rosalind, I was just happy hearing my brother make a submission on the state of the nation. And I'm a little bit surprised, but I'm not too surprised because when you are in opposition, you say it just as it is. So, I mean, that is his view. But for me, I think that, yes, it is a constitutional provision for the president. Article 67 of the Constitution gives him the mandate that at the beginning of the year or at the first sitting of Parliament, he needs to come to Parliament to present the state of the nation. The state of the nation. And it is not only when you are being elected the first time, but every year you have to come to Parliament to give the State of the Nation address. Right. Where we are as a country now. And he did exactly what he's supposed to do. I am not surprised. I've had opportunity to have a copy of the 58 pages State of the Nation address that he delivered, in as much that I've not gone through all. But there are some key things that I was expecting the president to talk about. In as much he spoke about education, he spoke about the energy sector, he spoke about the agric, he spoke about the economy, the state of the, and then he also spoke about how much. He
spoke about health as well.
Yes, how much was left in the account that he came to meet. But he didn't tell us what he has also inherited, apart from the account, the liability that, and then the income that he has also received. It is not a matter of money that you have in an account. You can have 1,000 cedis in your account, but you might have some projects that have given you more than that amount of money that you are talking about. But, Rosalind, there are some key things that I was expecting the president to talk about.
Like what?
Because he took a center stage of those issues.
Key things like what?
Let me land.
Okay.
You get another free room to...
I gave him 7 minutes.
Yes, but you never interjected him.
No, I'm just asking.
Okay, so I'll come to that.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Some key things that before 2024 election was one of his messages. And that is why most of the prophets and the prophetess and the reverend ministers and the bishop came together to campaign for him. LBGT. In his statement, because it's also one of the things that you and I seated here are not happy about it. Am I right? This is something that I have heard you on several occasions speaking against it. It's something that, as a Ghanaian, 99% of us are not in support of it. But in the midst of the president's statement, which the clergy met him some few months ago, he promised them that he's going to reintroduce it, and that this time around it's not going to be a private member's bill, but rather it's government-sponsored bill. I was expecting the president to talk about it. You know why? Because the president gave a date of the economic dialogue that is going to be held. The president gave a date when the Minister for Finance is going to present his budget. But president fails to give us dates that he's going to reintroduce the LBGT in Parliament. Secondly, the president promised the people doing cocoa that now many of your farmlands have been destroyed by Galamsey. In the president's statement that he presented to Parliament, in fact, I took my time to listen. I took my time to listen. I did not hear the president talking about Galamsey and how we are going to deal with it. Is it because today your own colleague here is running for his life because he's talking about Galamsey issue? I'm not the one saying it. Your own colleague here, multimedia, said now he cannot sleep in his house.
Erastus?
Yes. He said he cannot sleep in his house. He's been changed from his house because now NDC MP is the one championing Galamsey.
Is that what he said? He mentioned MPP?
Yes, he mentioned the president. And he even said that, look, even the chiefs in that place have come to do a press conference. In fact, recently, the chiefs even slaughtered some chiefs and then poured some snap that they have destroyed him from the place. And that if the President Mahama wants to do any development in that constituency, they should channel it through the regional minister or the regional or the constituency party or the regional party. And that they have nothing to do with the how do you call it, the MP.
But who voted for him?
But they voted for you to fight against Galamsey. So if eventually you have 10 and support him, but I've also heard the MP saying that he is not also doing Galamsey. But your own reporter says that when the people were interviewed, the MP's name was mentioned. These are two key things for me that I believe strongly that it should be something that the president needs to talk about it. Because it is something that you and I, because look, Rosalind, how many of us seated here, or how many Ghanaians can buy water, can import water? So the one that we can rely on is the one that we are taking from Weja and Bon and other places. So we are all concerned about the Galamsey. We are all concerned about the way and manner the youth of this country are being used because of money in doing these fatty things, LBGT. We are all concerned about it. So I am so happy that the president, on that day, having the opportunity, he will talk about, because he's addressing the state of the nation. And the 275 members of parliament represent the entire country. So that's an opportunity for him. But all these things, he left out. And he was talking about the sinking fund that $64,000 or $64 million was left. He was talking about the main account, what we have about the treasury account that we have about $100 and something million or billions. But the president also didn't tell us that when he came from the 7th of January 2025, swore in at the Independence Square, that today he said he's going to celebrate the 6th March. He will not celebrate it, but do it at the Jubilee House. He didn't tell us that from that day up to 28, the day he was even given the State of the Nation address, he has borrowed more than 59 billion Ghana cedis from the local account. He didn't tell us that. Because when you are present, you need to tell us that because of this situation, within my 1 month, 5 days, 10 days, this amount of money I have borrowed.
All right,
so it will be a pace. As I'm speaking with you today, as at yesterday, I don't know about today that they will add to it, but as at yesterday, the total borrowing of this government is 62 billion.
Okay. Now,
within the space of, how do you call it, 2 months. But Rosalind,
okay, so, but then again, you know, we are being told here by the Daily Graphic that the country has reduced domestic borrowing. So as much as you are mentioning figures, it's telling us that it's reduced. That is how come treasury bills have also reduced.
Rosalind, if you have reduced domestic, this borrowing from
because
domestic.
you spoke domestic.
Yes, I'm saying that all the borrowing is not international.
Yeah.
It's a domestic borrowing.
But you did speak about the domestic.
Yes, and I'm saying,
they are also telling us that comparing this to what had been done in the previous
What has been done in the previous?
No, because if they say that it has reduced it, and that's why T-bills has reduced
you were able, because just as the Nana gave you the explanation, when you reduce treasury bill, people will withdraw their money.
No. They said that government has reduced the domestic borrowing.
I am telling you that government, as at yesterday, has borrowed.
I'm not saying government hasn't borrowed.
Yes.
They said they have reduced it.
They have reduced this how?
Yes. So
how have they reduced it?
But that's what they're saying. Okay, you want me to
how have they reduced it?
You want me to read it for
you come then. Then the president was talking about even even at Parliament. He said he wants to reduce costs. Yes, I agree with him. So that we can have a lot of development in this country. But where he was giving his own State of the Nation address, I think he gave it on Thursday. On Friday, they packed their things. Members of Parliament, including the Speaker of Parliament, packed their things in a class of Parliament and went to Ho for post-budget workshop. Meanwhile, just last year, the same Speaker of Parliament was saying that there's no money, the country is broke, and that we should have the post-budget workshop in Parliament.
Okay, Honorable.
So where are we cutting the cost?
I'll come back.
Today, as I'm speaking with you,
just a quick one, because it's out there, so that we correct it.
The what?
If you read the State of the Nation's address, page 46 or 45, it says that, Mr. Speaker, illegal mining, commonly known as galamsey, has inflicted tremendous harm on our forests, leading to significant land degradation and the pollution of vital water resources, sources. This reckless activity threatens Ghana's environment and public health. Presently, 44 of the country's 288 forest reserves have been impacted, an area that is alarming significantly to approximately 7,504 football pitches. The pollution level in major rivers within the southwestern basins are critically high, with turbidity levels far exceeding. I just want us to understand that he mentioned galamsey. Okay. You understand?
So it's not like he was silent on galamsey.
It's not as if he was silent on it. Of course, some of us have even spoken that the sector minister ought not to have come to tell Ghanaians that 4 out of the 9 have fully been taken over by galamseyers and that we cannot have access to it. No, he has a responsibility to go in there
and take it back.
And take it back.
All right, let me go to Honorable Abdul Aziz.
Thank you so much. And I'm happy Nana Yao has rightly pointed to my colleague that, in fact, he came into the studio with the hard copy of the SONA, and yet he couldn't see that thing that President Mahama spoke about the galamsey. I had to borrow his document, and then I cited it there. But you see, when he started, in commenting on Nana Yao's presentation submission, he said, oh, from where he sits, Nana Yao is sitting in opposition. That's why. About you, are you? You're also in opposition. In fact, you are more in opposition than him. Right.
I'm in
government.
No, you are my brother. If you are in government,
I'm just reminding you that
I'm in triple opposition.
They still don't understand where they are. He said,
I'm in simple opposition.
You are. Now, to the substantive issue, like rightly said, what President Mahama did was a constitutional imperative. Article 67 of the 1992 Constitution. The President is required to address Parliament at the beginning of every session of Parliament. And when Parliament is also about to dissolve, the President is required to go and address the August House on the state of the nation. So what the SONA does is to afford the President the opportunity to tell the Ghanaian people what the state of the economy is. Yes. The President may take that opportunity to also let us walk into his mind to know what he wants to do going forward. That is exactly what President Mahama did. President Mahama spoke to a lot of issues. Almost every area of our national governance was covered. Of course, it is not possible to speak to every little issue, but all the major issues were adequately addressed. He spoke about the economy, the agri, our educational sector. He talks about jobs. He talks about almost everything, including our foreign policy. What are the fundamentals? What is the overarching principles of our foreign engagement? All those issues President Mahama talked about them. But the discussions or the public discourse largely has been on the economy, because the economy provides space for every other sector of our lives. Either the agri sector, the education sector, they all hinge on how the economy is performed, because they all would need some resources to be able to prosecute their agenda. We got to know through President Mahama's presentation that the national public debt as of today, or when the NPP was leaving power, was about 721 billion Ghana cedis. Yeah. I'm not sure what our gross domestic product is, our GDP is today, but I suppose it will be around 900 billion Ghana cedis. And so if you want to know our debt in terms of percentages relative to our GDP, it will be very, very easy to calculate. 721 billion Ghana cedis, when indeed we inherited a debt of 120 billion Ghana cedis. It means that the government of Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, during their 8-year tenure, added about some 600 billion Ghana cedis to our public debt. This is discounting the debt exchange program that they did. If you were to add those the savings that we made, I'm sure you'll be hitting to 1 trillion Ghana cedis as our public debt. Now, ECG, apart from the 721 billion Ghana cedis of public debt, we are talking about ECG alone also having a debt of 70 billion Ghana cedis waiting for President Mahama and the NDC to come and deal with. The road sector, both commitments and IPCs, that's interim payment certificates, amounts to about 130 billion Ghana cedis. This is what they left for President Mahama, with about 55 projects uncompleted. That will require about some 15 billion Ghana cedis to be able to...
55 road projects.
Road projects. Okay. And that will
because there are other projects that were not
exactly.
completed.
So this is how gloomy our economy is. This is what President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia left for President Mahama and Professor Nana Jane to deal with. Now, who in this country doesn't know, for instance, that before they left power, the dollar was around 17 Ghana cedis?
That's not true.
In fact,
it was 16.8 something.
So 16.8. Just do the.
But it wasn't 17.
You ran it off. You ran it off. 16.8.
But if I go change the money, it was 16.8.
That was the Bank of Ghana rate.
That was what was on the market.
So
not the Bank of Ghana rate.
Granted that it was 16.8. How different is 16.8 from 17 Ghana cedis?
Well, if you change a lot, you save some money.
Well, I don't have a lot to change. And so I'm just telling you that the state of the economy, yes, some of them we knew. For instance, those that we deal with on daily basis, we knew that the dollar was around 17 Ghana cedis. We knew that the inflation was around 24-25%. All these things we knew. The cost of living. I mean, we all go to market every day. We all buy things every day. We knew. But we didn't know that the road sector alone had a debt of about 130 billion Ghana cedis. We didn't know, for instance, that ECG alone had a debt of about 70 billion Ghana cedis. This is the quantum of debt that they left for President Mahama. In fact, from the presentation of President Mahama, we got to know that in 4 years, during the tenure of President Mahama, debt servicing alone would be around 280 billion Ghana cedis. And yet, we have been locked out of the international capital market. So it is a huge daunting task for President Mahama and the NDC. But I have every trust in the capacity of President Mahama to deal with the issues. Now, my brother is talking about President Mahama and the NDC borrowing about 60 billion or 62 billion Ghana cedis. You see, NPP, they say we don't read. We in the NDC, we don't read. But their problem is that even when they waste their time to read, they don't understand. How can you say President Mahama has borrowed about 60 billion as of today? That is not the fact.
What's the fact?
The net borrowing, as at the time President Mahama was presenting the State of the Nation address, was 7.1 billion Ghana cedis. Because if you know how the treasury market operates, you have to always borrow on a weekly basis to refinance maturing debts. Because before you left power, you borrowed on 91 daily a day basis, just 3 months. And so President Mahama and the NDC is required to borrow on a weekly basis to be able to finance the debt that we left. The net borrowing is about 7.1 billion Ghana cedis. That 7.1 billion Ghana cedis, you can trace it to the sinking fund because we have started building the sinking fund again. Before he left office,
so you borrow and put it
when we're leaving power, right? We left about 250 billion Ghana cedis in the sinking fund. The purpose was to retire the $750 million that President Akufo borrowed from the international market. When you were leaving power, just about 2 months ago, you left a paltry $64,000 in the dollar account and left about 143 million Ghana cedis in the city account. And look at the debt that you are leaving behind. So in order to give a good signal,
1 minute more.
In order to give a good signal to the market, we have started building the sinking fund again. When you do that, it assures the investing public that when they give their money to you, you have the capacity to pay. This was a sinking fund that we did, left behind for you. You came and squandered everything. Now we are building the sinking fund again. That's why you just read that treasury rates are beginning to come down. They are now over being subscribed. 16 weeks to the MPP leaving office. Treasury bills were undersubscribed. Today, people are bringing money to President Mahama and the NDC. Just to lend to us.
To lend. But that's what happens. But that's what happens when a new government takes over, right? We've seen it happen.
I'm saying that 16 weeks to the MPP leaving office, they were under subscriptions. Right after President Mahama took office, we are recording over subscriptions. In fact, we are rejecting more than half of what they are bringing to us because we don't want to pile more debts. The treasury rates are coming down. It's because the market now knows that, yes, we now have a responsible regime and that when we give them our money, they won't give us a sakura, a baba, and say a haircut. So be rest assured that President Mahama and the NDC
So under the NDC, there will be no haircuts.
Why? President Rawlings was there for 8 years. We never even knew of that term. President Mills, President Mahama, 8 years. We never knew it. It took the 72-year-old man who became president at 72 and left at 80, and a self-acclaimed economics guru, Dr. Mahmoud Abawumia, who introduced us to debt exchange. We never knew it in our economic lexicon. And so all that I'm saying is that President Mahama and the NDC are responsible. Look, you people, I don't know how you even govern. Before we left power, cocoa production was around 960,000 metric tons per annum. These guys have brought it down to 400,000 metric tons per annum. Our oil production, around 200,000 barrels a day. You brought it down to around 120,000. How can you govern a country this way? They have been reckless. They have been irresponsible. In fact, they have not been engaged in corruption. They have been engaged in open stealing. And President Mahama has told you that every member of the former regime that is found to have stolen our state resources will retrieve it and will make sure that we'll punish you Some of you are now running out of the country.
Okay. I'll come back. I'll come back to you.
Just a moment. And you guys have the guts today to talk about LGBT. You have the guts today.
When we talk about people who are in prison.
Okay.
When we talk about people who are in prison when it comes to stealing.
All right. So you know the economic dialogue.
When it comes to people who have been stealing, who have been sentenced to prison, you have more numbers than.
All right. So let me read
because from your finance minister, from even those that were sent to NSS, all of the people were sent into prison.
Gentlemen,
I don't understand.
Member of the NDC.
Oh, really?
Prison for corruption.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Go and check the records.
There's
a difference between willfully caused possession of the state.
All right, is Prepare not part of you? If it was Solomon not part of you,
they are partners of the NDC. They were never jailed for
so
corruption.
I have a
but they were jailed for what? If
Gentlemen,
not part of you.
I have a few messages. Let me read the messages. I'll come back to you, okay? Rosalind, when I sent my initial message, you said no propaganda on your show, but you are telling us that dollar was 16. I never said 16.5. I said 16.8. Thank you very much. Please quote me right. NPP left the dollar at 14.5 according to the Bank of Ghana. Where is your source to? Are you sure, Master Planner? Were you really changing money? I don't think so. Anyway.
But the one you mentioned, you also said there's a market. You didn't give the Bank of Ghana's rate. Bank of Ghana rate is different from the one in the market.
You see,
now, when you go to it's different from what the Bank of Ghana will give you.
When Nana asked me, Nana said, is it Bank of Ghana?
Yes.
And I said, market.
Market.
Good.
Yes. So Bank of Ghana rate is different from the market.
Now you get dollar.
Can you go?
Me? You get rate. You don't get dollar.
How many people can go and change money in Bank of Ghana?
You get the dollar.
When you finish, I'll give you $5,000.
Anyway, Master Planner says that when MPP communicator is talking, you ask them, Master Planner, please, no propaganda. Thank you very much. If you're sending messages, please be fair on your messages that you send. Good morning, Rosalind. Please ask simple question. Why did Nana Addo Bawumia and NPP party not sign the LGBTQ plus bill before leaving power? The NPP arrogant lifestyle must stop. Look how Afenyo Markin's behavior at everywhere he goes. Daniel from Hope. Good morning. On that day, I will wear black clothes after independence. See where we are now. There is nothing to celebrate. Majority of Ghanaians are hungry. Basic food cannot be afforded. Everyday politicians are turning us around. No future. NPP left the dollar at 14 cedis and not 15, 16, as my brother has indicated. Junior, Master Planner, please. Akonsi Gareba from Tamale says that, good morning, Ohima Rosalind. In fact, your traditional setup today has been colorful. I am very proud to be a Ghanaian. If President Mahama is celebrating the 6th March at the Jubilee House just to cut down the cost, then President Mahama and his appointees should stop taking fuel for free and also taking rent allowances to demonstrate that he really means well for Ghanaians. My regards to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Good morning, Rosalind. The youth are asking for jobs, not military training, to keep NSS personnel fit. Job creation was missing in the sauna. Job creation was not missing in the president's sauna. Did you listen to all? Good morning, Madam Rosalind. We are always grateful for the work you are doing. In all, we thank the president for doing his constitutional duty. But the truth must be told at a point. Many thought the president was presenting a campaign manifesto. He made a lot of promises and we'll give him time to assess him on that. The address was full of lamentations, as many have already predicted. So it was not a surprise at all. But what Ghanaians are expecting is for it to be fixed. As he has been given the mandate to do so, we pray the Nkoko Kete program will not be like yesterday's SADA, as it is still fresh. I didn't hear anything about the termination of appointments, even when some institutions have even gone beyond the 7th December indicated in the letter. We want to do a 24-hour economy, but we are sacking workers. How then do we do our one job shift 3 people? Thanks. Okay. Correspondent Zakaria says that if Ghanaians did not vote for Mahama, would he have been a loss of our vision? Mahama is our light. Let's pray for health for him and Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman. They will deliver greetings. Alhaji Mayanka from Kofi Entry J. Vincent. Sabi Boachi Asamankese is also saying that wishes He wishes everyone a happy Ghana month, lamenting the prevalence of hypocrisy and double standards in the country. Critics of the cathedral project are now defending the Hajj village, raising questions about the nation's identity. Ghanaians are eager for tangible action beyond constant complaints. Mahama has pledged to abolish betting and e-levy taxes, and it's essential to follow through on these promises. The question remains, are those whose appointments have been terminated not Ghanaians? The value of one guest is equivalent to another. Regards to Honorable Petozwa. All right. So that will be it. Let me see if I have one more. Okay, it didn't come through. So you can still send in your messages to us and we'll read it. But let me quickly take your opinion on the economic dialogue. 1 minute for each. The economic dialogue, which is going to happen today. The president has said that he's going to fix the issues with regards to the economy. What are your expectations, Nana? 1 minute, please.
I have, fortunately, I think that Alan Tremontin, prior to the elections, did hold what we call the Economic Summit, National Economic Summit, which is similar to the economic dialogue that is going to be held. We put together individuals from the various economic sectors, from banking to industry to trade, and tourism and all of that, which actually helps to shape our economy. And we were able to come up with in excess of 100 or so practical policy prescriptions. And so this is nothing so very new. What we expect is that it should not be an avenue for propaganda. It should not be an avenue for them to whitewash issues. It should be an avenue or a platform for us to actually have proper diagnosis and come up with practical policy prescriptions, not prescriptions that would be overhead, that we would need the heavens to come down to help us to actually implement. But we should have straightforward minds. There are some technocrats and there are some captains of industries who would want to protect themselves and protect other matters of theirs. And for that matter, when they are given an opportunity on the national platform to speak their mind, then they would rather want to worship the authority. That is not the time. Right, this is not the time to do that.
Thank you.
But it's unfortunate, and I'll put this out. It's unfortunate that the planning committee didn't invite us.
Oh, you haven't been invited?
Yeah, we've not been invited.
But it's open, isn't it?
Of course. No, it's not. If you are inviting stakeholders, you invite them properly. It's unfortunate that we've not been invited.
Okay, Alhaji is here, so he'll do something
about it. I think that every single individual or organization that has an interest, okay, or that did exhibit a certain level of interest should be called on. We actually have held something like that, and then so we. It's good for Ghana. Yeah. And so, but it's just unfortunate we're not invited. Okay. We would, but it doesn't stop us from criticizing it after the work is done. We will.
Fantastic. That's good. Honorable Ibn Sanati. But Honorable Alhaji, why am I saying Honorable Alhaji? Should I call you Honorable Alhaji? Which one do you prefer?
Aziz. I'm fine with Aziz.
Okay, Aziz. Aziz, is it too late? Is it too late to invite because they are, Movement for Change wants an invitation?
Oh no, we are not, I'm not saying we want an invitation.
But it will be right
only
to
saying that
we need an invitation.
Yes, it's only proper. Yes, proper that is done. Is it too late?
I appreciate his concern. It's an open program. Okay. But I think that political parties, as they are, should formally be.
But you're not a political party.
You're not a political party.
Well, a movement.
It is a political institution.
It's a political organization.
You cannot underestimate the influence of the movement for change.
Okay.
You cannot.
I see.
Yes, you cannot. I think that. Let us be very honest with ourselves. All political groupings in this country, if we can, we should extend an invitation to them. President Mahama, when he was presenting the State of the Nation address, urged our colleagues on the other side, the MPP, to make sure that they participate fully in this program. You remember Senchi that we did in 2014? What they did was to boycott Senchi. In fact, the purpose is to tap into the knowledge and experience of all stakeholders. President Mahama believes that wisdom or knowledge does not reside in one person's head. As a government, we have an idea where we want to take the country to. But we want to listen to civil society players. We want to listen to academia, captains of industry, the political class. Almost all of them, we need to hear their perspectives so that we can build what can be likened to what we did earlier, the homegrown policies, that would guide our national economic discussion. And look at the people who are the organizers, the moderators.
Right.
Some of them are very fierce critics of the NDC. But President Mahama says that it doesn't matter whether you like the NDC or not. We want you to come on board. Ghana belongs to all of us. We want to build the Ghana we want together. And that's why you see all manner of people, the chairman of the organizing committee, everybody, we are tapping into the experience, the knowledge of every Ghanaian.
Okay, so if you're a Ghanaian, today you can actually attend this event. It's open, so you don't have to pay to be a part of it. Go and, let your knowledge be sold to Ghanaians.
Exactly. Right. I mean, and look, very fantastic idea, the goal board that we are doing. The goal board, PMMC, working with the Ministry of Finance, how we want to mobilize or aggregate the gold from the small-scale miners in order to anchor the local currency. We have
Honorable. Let me go
I'm sure next time.
We'll go deeper. Yes, Honorable. Please.
You will see a good in it, I know.
Economic dialogue. Yes, the president mentioned it. But even before the campaign, that's some of the things that he said. I'm hoping it will not be like Royal Senchi. What was the outcome of Royal Senchi? When they went to Royal Senchi for 3-4 days, were we able to get a document as to the roadmap as to how they are going to change the economy? So far as I'm concerned, I'm yet to have a copy of what transpired at Royal Senchi. I am hoping, looking at the kind of people that, in fact, when I saw the flyer and the chairperson, and I saw Polakwa, in fact, I never knew this man is still around. I thought maybe he's in the UN somewhere. I've seen other prominent people. I am hoping and believing that there'll be something possibly coming out from this dialogue, that at the end of the day, it will change the economic fortunes in this country. Sitting here, I want to travel, some vacation. I wish that I'll go to the bank and they'll tell him the dollar is 10 cedi or maybe $1 to 1 cedi. I'll be very happy. I'll be very happy that there are some members in my constituency who are now calling me and asking me when are they going to be paid, because my mama promised to pay them. I'm happy that the economic dialogue will bring some change and then there will be some money and then they will start being paid. That's what I'm looking at. I am happy that they will have economic dialogue at the end of the day, that if I'm buying a fuel, it will not be a 1 liter for about 15 cedis or 10 cedis, but it will reduce to 20 pesos. That's what I'm happy. I'm hoping, believing.
Okay, it's all time permitted, unfortunately. So I just want to talk about the chairpersons and the moderators. We have the Restoring Macroeconomic Stability. That's Dr. Polakwa, who is a former governor of Bank of Ghana. Growth with Depth for Economic Transformation. Mrs. Mavis Owusu-Jamefi, that's President and CEO ASET. Private sector-led growth with Mr. Nana Joe Mensah. He's a senior vice president and country manager for Cosmos Energy Infrastructure Development, Mr. Felix Addo, who is a former country senior partner and PricewaterhouseCoopers Ghana. Structural policy reforms, Dr. KK Sapong, that's a business executive and consultant. And restoring good governance and eliminating corruption is Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, executive director of Institute for Demographic Governance. So that's all that we can do this morning for the News Flash segment. And unfortunately, me need time. I have to go. Else Brenda will beat me. So, Nana,
we are hyping the expectations of Ghanaians, which is wrong for democracy and it's wrong
It's
for
not wrong for democracy.
Okay, all right.
Let
We are
us
not hyping
manage
the
our
expectation of Ghanaians.
expectations.
Okay, that's fantastic.
You are-
So I want to say a very big thank you to my guests. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. My guests have been Nanaya Sapong. My guests have been Nanaya Sapong, who has represented Movement for Change, Honorable Ebenezer Nate, who has represented the NPP, and Honorable Abdul Aziz, who has represented the NDC this morning. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We are very grateful. We still have the National Theatre here with us. They are going to give us a beautiful Ghana dance ensemble from the National Theatre. They are going to give us a beautiful performance. So if the Ghana dance ensemble from the National Theatre, they are ready, please take us away. My name is Roslyn Felly.